All right, so about 2 days ago, I did a tier list on stream of every single enchantment in Minecraft. And now I think a tier list is not enough. I am going to rank every single enchantment individually. Okay, there's 39 enchantments in Minecraft. If I go in depth on every single one, this video is going to be an hour long. So I'm going to try and keep this as concise as possible. But before we begin, I want to ask, hey, can you please subscribe? Listen, I I'm begging you, all right? I'm on my hands and knees right now. Please subscribe. It actually turns out that most people that watch me are subscribed, so if you're not, that's kind of weird. All right, I'm just gonna get right into it. Starting off at 39 and 38, we're doing these ones together. It's the Curse enchantment, so Curse of Binding and Curse of Vanishing. These could be interchangeable. They are the worst enchantments in the entire game. They are the most useless. There is no reason to have them at all. There's no reason. Both of them are just non-benefits. It's negative benefit, actually. You don't benefit at all from having these on your armor, anything. Basically, if you're wondering, Curse of Vanishing, what Curse of Vanishing does is when you die, that item just gone, disappeared, doesn't exist anymore. Curse of Binding, it only works on armor. Actually, that's not true. I lied to you just now. Curse of Binding, basically, it just stays in that inventory slot that it's in. So basically, if you put on a chest plate, you cannot remove that chest plate. And if you have a tool or something, you have Curse of Binding on that tool, that will never move. It's going to stay in that slot. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Both of them suck. There's no reason to have them, ever. They are 38 and 39. You can put them wherever you want. I'm personally putting Curse of Vanishing at 39 and Curse of Binding at 38, mainly because Curse of Binding, at least, is sometimes funny. At 37, I'm putting Bane of Arthropods. This is the most useless sword enchantment. What it does is it makes you kill spiders faster. That sucks, I'm going to be honest. In the entirety of Minecraft, there are only two mobs this affects. Spiders and cave spiders. That's it. Nothing else is an arthropod in Minecraft. There are no other arthropods. It just works on spiders. So, yeah, it kind of sucks. There's no reason to have it on your sword, and honestly, when you do have it, you don't even really realize that it's there. So I'm putting Bane of Arthropods at 37. At 36, I'm putting Blast Protection. This is the first protection enchantment. There's a couple of these, but Blast Protection, I think, is the worst. Yes, it is useful in some scenarios, I will admit that, but how are you ever going to foresee these scenarios? Having Blast Protection on instead of, like, Protection or hell, even Fire Protection is better than Blast Protection, because there is no way you'd ever be able to foresee Blast Protection being needed. The only reason you would have Blast Protection on is if you're deathly afraid of creepers. But even that, even a creeper isn't like as scary as fire in the Nether. You are going to experience fire and arrows and projectiles and all the sorts much more frequently than you're going to experience explosions. So Blast Protection, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense. At number 35, we have Smite. This is probably this is a decent enchantment. It's not bad, but I wouldn't have this on my sword. Now, I've heard that Smite in Bedrock is a lot better, but in Java, which is what my realm of reference is on, Smite is not very good. I mean, there's a lot of undead mobs, so Smite is sometimes a decent enchantment to have on, but you're much more better off having something like having Sharpness. You're just better off having Sharpness on your sword. Smite is probably it's not a very good enchantment. If you get it, usually you just grindstone that. Number 34, we have Fire Protection. Now, I'm putting Fire Protection above Blast Protection because, like I said, you're more likely to run into fire than you are explosions in Minecraft, especially with the Nether. I mean, in Minecraft, you go to the Nether a lot. You're going to the Nether just all the time. So, I think Fire Protection is sometimes decent to have, especially in the beginning of the game when you're in the Nether for the first time with iron armor. I mean, when I was doing a challenge where I was trying to complete Minecraft without using tools, I realized how much I loved fire protection because of those blaze fights. I got hit so many times with blazes. So it's nice to have fire protection when you're on fire. Number 33, we have multi-shot. Multi-shot, in my opinion, is the worst crossbow enchantment. You can fight me all you want. The only use multi-shot has is the fireworks. But those are only useful in one scenario. Those fireworks are only useful in one scenario, and that is fighting large groups of people. Otherwise, there's no reason to have them. The fireworks aren't even that powerful, I'm going to be honest with you. They're not that powerful. They're okay, but you're much better off having just a power bow. Multi-shot does a lot worse than it does good. I mean, if you haven't had multi-shot, it basically shoots 3 arrows, but it actually shifts the trajectory of the arrows, so where your crosshair is aimed is not where your arrow is going to go. So it's a lot harder to aim with multi-shot. Of course, if you get the fireworks, that gets negated, but the fireworks are difficult in of itself. The fireworks are hard to use. I mean, they're not super powerful. I mean, yeah, they're good. They're decent, especially fighting large groups of people that don't have armor on or don't have strong armor. But other than that, it's not gonna do you much good. At number 32, we have channeling. Channeling exists. The only reason you would have channeling on your trident is if you want mob heads and you need to get charged creepers. That's the only use it has. Other than that, it's just nah. At number 31, we have thorns. I think thorns is one of the worst armor enchantments you can put on. It decreases durability quicker. I know a lot of people believe that was a myth for a long time, but it is not. It's a thing. Thorns, it makes your life a little bit harder. If you're on multiplayer, Thorns is great. Thorns is fantastic. It's a decent enchantment to have on since it makes AFKing better, combat, it gets better. And Thorns it's a funny enchantment. It's all right. But you're much better off not having it. Like you're better off not having it, especially if you're playing on single player. Don't put Thorns on, because if you're trying to maybe transfer a mob that hits you, it's gonna die. If you're trying to revive a villager, it's gonna hit you and it's gonna die. Even on multiplayer, there are some times where Thorns is just painful. Like I remember when on the Dream SMP, when Technoblade was trying to get his skeleton to his base, it kept on dying. So yeah, Thorns is oftentimes very annoying, and I think it's not a good armor enchantment to have. I would rather not have it than have it, but I will admit it can be funny sometimes. Number 30, we have Frostwalker. I will not say much other than it's just a worse version of Depth Strider. Anyways, moving on. Number 29, we have Aqua Affinity. I didn't know what Aqua Affinity did for the longest time, and I finally understood what it does. It makes you mine faster underwater, and honestly, there's not many scenarios where that's going to be that useful. I mean, sometimes I can see where you want it on your armor, and whatever, put it on your helmet, whatever, but it's gonna be if I'm picking enchantments to put on my helmet, Aqua Affinity is gonna be the last one I pick. Number 28, I have Projectile Protection. I think Projectile Protection is probably the best Projectile Protection is the best protection to have other than just normal protection. But obviously you wouldn't go for it, since you're in Minecraft. You're way more likely to encounter projectiles than any other type of thing, like fire blowing up. But of course, projectile protection has to be this low because protection is just way better. 27, I'm right. I have piercing. Piercing is better than multi-shot. Yes, it is. In Minecraft, there are some enchantments that you can't have together, like piercing and multi-shot. You cannot have the two on the same crossbow, and I would much rather have piercing than multi-shot. Basically, what piercing does is instead of it sticking in to what you're shooting at, it goes through it. So that means it can go through shields. It goes through enemies, so you can go pick up the arrow. It's less wasteful. You can have less arrows, so you can actually pick them up after you shoot someone. And it goes through shields, which is really, really useful for combat, since it just makes you the most annoying bow spammer of all time. I think piercing's useful. Number 26, I have punch. Punch, now here's the thing. Punch is good in multiplayer combat. However, that's the only time it's good. Even so, I would sometimes opt to not have punch on my bow because sometimes it's just annoying. However, there is one other use for it, and that is bow boosting, but I do not know how to bow boost, so I don't care. However, in single player and in honestly many SMP scenarios, punch is just, there's no reason to have it. It's there, sure, yeah, whatever, I'll get it, but I wouldn't have punch on my I wouldn't have punch on my bow. Number 25, I believe. I'm like losing it, dude. Number 25, I have knockback. Knockback, decent enchantment to have on the sword. Now, of course, in single player, I would opt to not have knockback. But sometimes knockback is cool to have on other things, like if you have knockback on a stick, which I guess that's possible. I wonder, is that still possible in Minecraft? It probably is. If you have knockback on like a stick or something, or even if you have knockback on like a wooden sword, it's a fun thing to use sometimes. At number 24, I have soul speed. Now soul speed seems like it'd be way higher, right? Well, the biggest drawback it has is that it takes away durability, and that I drastically hate. But other than that, soul speed is nice to have. It makes traversing soul sand valleys a lot easier, but that's the only real use you're ever going to have for it, is when you're in soul sand valleys. Other than that, there's no reason. So yeah, soul speed is just that low. At number 23, I have impaling. I think impaling is just mid, to be honest. Like I don't ever have it on my trident. I think impaling makes tridents do more damage, so I never have impaling on tridents. I think I have impaling on my trident in hardcore, but like I don't use it. I never notice the difference. So impaling's just very mid. I mean, it's cool, yeah, to have your trident do some more damage after you throw it, but other than that, it's just mid. It's just so mid. At number 22, I have flame. Now, flame at first seems like an amazing enchantment to have on your bow, but really doesn't make that much of a difference. If you're in multiplayer combat, like I said, it's nice to have. It makes it better. But oftentimes, I opt to not have flame on my bow. Because, especially in multiplayer combat, if you have flame on your bow, it's more likely that the other person is going to have, fire resistance. That's what I was thinking of. Fire resistance. So, oftentimes, flame is just kind of useless. And I oftentimes opt to have not flame on my bow, since most of the time in single player Minecraft it just doesn't make a difference at all, because bows do a lot of damage. Bows actually, fun fact, bows do more damage bows do more damage than swords. So oftentimes a bow will one shot anyway, so especially if it has power 5 on it, bows will one shot anyway, so it doesn't make a difference to have flame. Again, I think flame is just mid. I think flame is just a mid enchantment. So at number 21, I have quick charge. Quick charge is the best crossbow enchantment. Easy, not even close. Quick charge is amazing. It's just a machine gun. It's like a rifle. It's awesome. Quick charge is amazing. It goes with every enchantment, so it goes with multi-shot and with piercing. And you can just rapid fire it. It's really, really useful to have. If you have a crossbow, put quick charge on it, because it's amazing. That's all I have to say about it. Number 20 is sweeping edge. A lot of people hate sweeping edge for a couple reasons, but I have ways to counter that. So I didn't realize how amazing sweeping edge was until I started a hardcore world and I got a mob grinder. Sweeping edge is really nice. If you don't know what sweeping edge does, it makes you attack multiple opponents with a sword. Now, a lot of people hate that, because what if you accidentally hit a mob that you don't want to hit? Well, fun fact, if you crit, sweeping edge has no effect. And because I know how to crit and I'm good at critting, I don't care. Like, I crit things with sweeping edge all the time, and it makes literally no difference. So yeah, I think sweeping edge is a great enchantment. It has that one little drawback, and even that drawback is avoidable. So yeah. Number 19, I have lure. Actually, number 19 and 18, lore and luck of the sea. To me, they're kind of tied, but I put lore at 19 and lore at 18, but really they're tied, but I just have to put them in a number. They have to go together because they're the two fishing enchantments, and they're both useful. Like, they go hand in hand. If you have lore, you're gonna have luck of the sea. So, yeah, they're good. They're good fishing enchantments. I like them. They're nice to have. They're really good for fishing. So, number 17, I have loyalty. Loyalty is a good trident enchantment. It's pretty decent. I like it. Basically, if you throw it, if you go through trident, it comes back to you. It's fun. It's a fun enchantment. If you're gonna get a trident, if you're gonna get a throwing trident, you have to have loyalty on it. That's just it. Number 16, I have respiration. Respiration is, I mean, once again, if I'm picking enchantments out for my helmet, respiration is going to be one of the last things I put on it. But I'd still like to have respiration. Respiration is just one of those enchantments that makes life easier. Number 15, I have silk touch. Silk touch, I will say, Silk Touch, there's a common debate between Silk Touch and Fortune. Which one would you rather have on your pickaxe? I would rather Fortune. Like, if you're going to pick one, you're going to pick Fortune. But Fortune is just better, obviously. But Silk Touch, oftentimes people will make a separate pickaxe for Silk Touch. Because Silk Touch is just one of those things that, again, makes your life just a little bit easier. And that's nice. Because, you can pick up ender chests. You can get a ton of items without cluttering your inventory. It just makes life a little bit easier. So yeah. Number 14, I have fire aspect. Fire aspect is something that everyone has on their sword all the time. Fire aspect is a really, really good enchantment to have. It makes, again, it's one of those things that makes life easier, but it also makes PvP a lot better. Because fire aspect, obviously you get your food cooked, and you get to light people on fire with your sword. It's really cool. Fire aspect is better than flame because, like, you can't tell if someone has fire aspect on their sword. Like, you're not gonna be able to tell that. Like, and also you're more likely to kill something with your sword than you are your bow. So yeah, I would say fire aspect is just way better than flame. It's in a different league. Number 13, I have Depth Strider. We're getting into the enchantments that are just. We're getting to the top tier enchantments now. Depth Strider is so nice to have, and like I said, it's way, way better than Frostwalker. Depth Strider makes Frostwalker seem useless, and honestly, I would rather have Depth Strider over a lot of things on my boots. However, I wouldn't have Depth Strider over Swift Sneak. Swift Sneak comes in at number 12. I think Swift Sneak is one of the best enchantments that Mojang has ever added. It's so close to being top 10. There's just a couple other things that are just a little bit more useful and a little bit better. However, Swift Sneak is amazing. And I didn't even know this, but apparently Swift Sneak is a leggings enchantment. So I didn't even know that. I thought it was a boots enchantment for the longest time. But it's a leggings enchantment. And Swift Sneak is so useful for building, for the, hell underground. The deep dark biome, it's really useful for that. Swift Sneak is useful in many scenarios, especially, and even in, multiplayer PvP, Swift Sneak is really good. At number 11, I have Infinity. Infinity is a really amazing bow enchantment, really useful. It allows you to not clutter your inventory with hundreds of arrows. You can just have one arrow, and it just fires over and over again. It's really nice. And of course, Infinity can't be mixed with Mending. I would rather take Infinity over Mending if I have a bow. So that's what I would say that. Number 10, we're getting to the top 10 here. I have Riptide at number 10. This is a little bit unpopular, but think about it. Riptide is the most fun enchantment in the entire game. Riptide is fantastic. It's amazing for travel. It makes things so much easier. I cannot explain to you how many fireworks I have saved once I got Riptide on my trident. It's incredible. I have not wasted a single firework since I got Riptide. It's incredible. I love Riptide. It's an amazing enchantment for travel. If you have an Elytra, Riptide's awesome. Like, Riptide is just, like, if you're going to get, like, I'm going to say this now. If you're going to get a trident, put Riptide on it. Don't get a throwing trident, even on multiplayer. Just get Riptide. It's better. Number 9, I have Looting. I wanted to put Looting a little bit lower, but you just can't deny the benefits of Looting. It makes grinding so much easier. Looting is just a good enchantment to have, no matter what. Number 8, I have Power. Of course, Power is the best bow enchantment there is. Oftentimes, Power... actually, no, not even oftentimes. Power is stronger than a crossbow. The firework crossbow thing, power is actually better than that. Power 5 is actually better than the crossbow firework. That's true. It does more damage. Now, there's a little bit of debate as if what would you rather have. I mean, obviously, you probably can shoot a crossbow with Quick Charge 3 faster than you can shoot a power bow, but power does more damage. A bow is more precise than a crossbow. So I would probably say that power is the best projectile enchantment out there. Number 7, I have Fortune. Fortune is one of the best pickaxe enchantments. I think it'd be the second best pickaxe enchantment, or I guess pickaxe exclusive enchantment, you can say. But Fortune is really good for mining. Obviously, we know what it's for. We know what Fortune is for. We know what it does. It's really great. Number 6, I have Efficiency. These next 6 enchantments are the top tier enchantments. These are the S tier enchantments. These are the best enchantments in the game, bar none. And I think Efficiency is the worst of that bunch. Efficiency allows you to mine things faster, and it's very useful in many, many situations. There are times when Efficiency isn't as useful as you might think, but it's just one of those enchantments that makes your life way easier. Sometimes it can be a little bit tough. Like if you're building with Netherrack, you might accidentally break 2 blocks or 3 blocks when you only intended to break 1. So sometimes Efficiency can make life a little bit harder, but most of the time it's going to make your life a lot better. Number 5, I have Mending. You're probably wondering why Mending is so low. Well, that's because Mending is really, really hard to get. That's not the only reason. I'm saying if you get Mending, Mending is really nice to have. But I want to look at this in a perspective of what would you rather have on your sword or on your armor? What would you rather have? Would you rather have Mending or would you rather have Unbreaking? I would rather have Unbreaking. Because Mending takes time to use. You have to get experience. So the best way to use Mending is a mob farm, or any way you can get experience. So Mending is kind of tough to use at times. And while, yeah, it's really, really useful, it's really good enchantment, it's just a little bit difficult. It's just a little, Mending to use is time consuming. It's difficult. So even though Mending's OP, it has its drawbacks. Number 4, I have Unbreaking. Unbreaking is a goated enchantment. Unbreaking is an absolutely goated enchantment. Now, Unbreaking combined with Mending is godlike, but of course, I would say Unbreaking is just better than Mending. Like, if you what are you gonna pick, Mending or Unbreaking? You're gonna pick Unbreaking. Unbreaking makes your armor last longer, and I actually figured out how Unbreaking works. When you get hit or when you use a tool or whatever, it actually, like, there's a chance that like it's gonna take durability away, and Unbreaking just lowers that chance. That's what that does. It's cool. But yeah, Unbreaking is a really nice enchantment. It makes your armor last longer, so you don't have to put as much time into doing something like getting armor as you would if you didn't have Unbreaking. Now we're to the top 3. Now these next 2 are genuinely interchangeable. These next 2 and 3 are genuinely interchangeable. And that is Feather Falling and Sharpness. Those are 2 and 3 to me. Now, this entirely depends on the situation. If you are PvPing, of course you're going to rather have Sharpness. If you are in if you're in single player, like a hardcore world, you would much rather have Feather Falling. But I will say, I think that Sharpness is 3rd and Feather Falling is 2nd. Here's why. I think in most cases, Feather Falling is more useful than Sharpness. Sharpness is the best sword enchantment, easily. It's just good. It's good for everything. It makes life a lot easier. However, how many hardcore worlds do you think wouldn't exist right now if Feather Falling didn't exist? Think about that. Feather Falling oftentimes single-handedly saved hardcore worlds. Even in SMPs, like PvP SMPs, like Lifesteal, I'm positive Feather Falling has saved some players. Feather Falling, there are times where I have like fully relied on Feather Falling for something. So I think Feather Falling is just slightly better than sharpness, but you could interchange the two depending on what you're doing. However, this gets into the unequivocated, easily number one. The best enchantment in the game is protection. There's nothing, no way protection is not the best enchantment in the game. If you say it's not, you're lying. Protection is the best. Protection reduces the amount of damage that everything does. That's what protection does. It reduces fall damage. Yes, it does. It does do that. Protection does reduce fall damage. Protection reduces sword damage, bow damage, blast damage, fire damage, everything. Protection reduces the damage of everything. It is the best enchantment in the game. If I had to choose between having protection on my armor and sharpness on my sword, I'm picking protection. Protection over feather falling, easy. Protection. Protection is the best enchantment in Minecraft. Fight me about it. I'm correct. Goodbye.